Let's imagine that we're going to create 3 or 4 or 20 team sites, and we'd like them all to be very similar. Perhaps we're going to create a site that will be used for project management, and we will create that site and build in the apps we want, an issues list, a documents library, some documents that we want people to have on hand, and we have exactly what we want. Rather than having to go through those same steps over and over again, we can save our site as a template. And all of the time that we've invested in building it, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 days, we get to save by simply punching that same site out over and over again. You may not be ready to save any of your sites as a template yet. You might want to add other apps or add documents, because when you save a site as a template, if you have documents in it, you have the ability to retain them. But it's valuable, even if you're not ready to do it yet, to know how easy it is and to understand what you get when you save a site as a template. Let's say this is the site we want to keep, Teamland and SF. It already has some documents in it. It already has apps, a links list, lots of things that we would like to have. It has the navigation we want. Everything's in place. Let's go to Site Settings. And when the site settings load, we're going to choose Save Site as a Template right here under Site Actions. We're going to enter a name for the template file, but we'll also enter a user-friendly name and a description. So let's say that this is going to be called Hotel Site. It's possible that we might even want to say this is a North American hotel site, because we might have a different look and feel for our hotel sites in Latin America, in Asia, or in Europe. So this is a hotel site for use in North American land and hotels. Now, do we want to include the content? To be clear, there are pluses and minuses for doing this. We don't get a choice to have some of the content. So imagine with me for a moment that we want to use a lot of the content out of Teamland and SF, but not all of it. Well, Teamland and SF is in production. It's being used. I don't have the choice to strip content out of it. But what I could do is I could save this site as a template and include all the content. Then I could create a new site with the template, strip out the things that I don't want because now it's a copy, and then in that newly created site that has now had extraneous content removed, I could save that as a template and delete the first template. It's an extra step, but sometimes you don't realize you want to save a site as a template until it's already in production and being used. And again, you don't have the ability to say a little bit of content. This is a checkbox. It's yes, no. By including the content, we get all of it. We get documents, but we also get custom columns. We get workflows if we have workflows in document libraries or in lists. So this is an important feature, but notice the caution. If you have some private content in this website that was, for example, a document that was only shared with 2 people, that item security is not going to be kept at that level. So this is another reason to make sure that when you're saying include content, that you then go back through the template before you create too many sites with it and say, oh, yep, this is exactly the content we want. I'm not going to include the content because all I want is my apps. I don't want specific documents that are sitting in my libraries. I don't want the specific items that are listed in my lists. I just want the apps themselves and the navigation and the other parts of the site that I've customized, but I don't need the documents. So by not including the content, it's also going to save much more quickly and create sites much more quickly. What I'll be left with are my color choices, my branding, my navigation, my pages, my apps, but no content. And we're almost done. It says our website has been saved to the Solutions Gallery, and there's a link to be able to get there. You'll want to know where that is, because if you have a template that's incorrect, or a template that you want to remove, you need to be able to go here to get to it. So if you are a site owner or site administrator, this isn't a bad place to keep on your favorites list. If I wanted to go back to the site settings page, I can click OK, but let's go to the solution gallery so you can quickly see what that looks like. It's right here. It's active. And if I wanted to do something like delete it, I actually have to deactivate it first, and then I can delete it. Otherwise, this hotel site template is going to remain here. Now, how would we use this template? Well, let's go back to our site. We're on our way. Remember that the template is a template to create hotel sites. So perhaps the next hotel site that I would want to create, another North American hotel site, would be for our hotel that's in Detroit. Let's go back to the Land and Hotel Intranet, which is our top-level site in North America. And here's our Land and Hotel Intranet, Team Landon, Team Landon SF, and we're going to create a new site. So we'll go to Site Contents, get there on the Quick Launch, get there on the Gear button for settings, either one. We would like to add a new subsite, and this is for Team Landon Detroit. Notice that there's a tab in the Select a Template area that wasn't there before called Custom North American Hotel Site. So in the Solutions Gallery, we see the file name we provided. Here in the Template section, we see the friendly name we provided, and here's the description. I can enter a description for the site here, and I should. And DET is the code for Detroit for our Land and Hotels. Use same permissions as parent site. Remember these choices we want to make. Display this site on the quick launch of the parent site. Yes. Display this site on the top link bar of the parent site. Yes. Use the top link bar from the parent site. Yes. So this is going on the quick launch of the parent site. Actually, no. That's a no question. So this site will be on the top link bar of our Land and Hotel Intranet. We'll be using that link bar for this site because it is a hotel site. Let's click Create to create it. It's nice to have an application like the Windows screen clipping tool that will allow you to grab pages like this and annotate them. It's a way to be able to capture the settings that you'll want to use as you create sites. When you initially set up a group of sites, you'll get very good at creating those settings over and over again. But the next person who does it, or if you end up doing it a year later, you might not remember how you had configured everything. So it's good to have a guide for how your sites are created. That's a piece of work you are creating. There's our Detroit page, Team Land in Detroit. Now, I'd like to modify this. I can't do it here because I'd like Detroit listed before New York, listed before San Francisco, so they're in alphabetical order. Let's go back to Land and Hotel Intranet and modify our top nav by editing the links. And then everything will be just fine. Easy to save as a template. Notice all of my apps are on the left-hand side. I didn't bring in any content, but everything else is here. Notice that the folders in my libraries are here, even though the documents are not. And one easy fix, right there, save, and let's go back to our new site. Quick and easy. Create the site you want, save it as a template, and use it over and over again to create the sites that you need.